doesn't like macaroni and cheese? Well, if you don't, I know I do. It's about to go down in Vincent Country. I'm Chef Tommi V, and we are about to make baked macaroni and cheese, not stovetop, not from the box. This is authentic macaroni and cheese, just like your grandmother used to make. So here are our ingredients. So we have our elbow macaroni noodles. We have half and half. We have cheddar cheese, cream cheese, Gruyere cheese, and Colby Jack cheese. We have eggs, we have flour, we have butter, and we have paprika for garnish. Now in Vincent Country, this is not a baby pan of macaroni and cheese. It is for the entire family, and it will serve a ton of guests. So if this is too much for you, feel free to reduce the recipe in half. The entire recipe will be on vincentcountry.com, and more specifics about the ingredients and the measurements will be below in the description. Let's get started. We are going to first start by adding our grated cheese. That we actually grated off of the block, and we're going to add it into our elbow macaroni. So we'll start with our Gruyere cheese, and our Colby Jack is actually going to be used to go into the cheese sauce or bechamel sauce that we're going to make. That's going to go into the macaroni and cheese. So now we're going to use half of our cheddar cheese. Okay. We'll mix that together. And when we pour in the sauce, everything will meld together. But we just want to make sure that these cheeses are throughout the elbow macaroni noodles. We're also going to add into here 4 eggs. I'm going to crack them right over the bowl. Make sure you don't get no shells in the bowl. Last thing somebody want to do is chew on an eggshell. Okay, we're going to get all the noodles coated with the egg. Okay, so let's get going on our cheese sauce. We're gonna start. First, let me turn on my heat. We're gonna put in our butter. And our flour. To make our roux. Turn it up just a little bit. This roux doesn't need any coloring, so it'll be a blonde roux. Comes together pretty quickly. Good. Now we'll add in our half and half. Whisking as we're pouring it in. Should be good, and I can let it just what it needs to do. Our half and half has started to thicken as a result of the roux doing what it does best. So we're going to add in our Colby Jack cheese. Let's get this in. And this is where all the magic begins. It just takes shape. The sauce within itself is desirable. Okay. Here she go. She is, ooh. See that? That's that cheese. And the sauce, you can see that the texture has already changed. It went from liquidy and now it's thickened. So we're going to add in our cream cheese. It also helps when you're making anything to bring all of your ingredients to room temperature unless it calls for something different, because then when you put the heat on it, it all responds the same way and it cooks the same way. And since these ingredients were brought to room temperature first, it took no time for them to start reacting to the heat. Okay, and we actually put our salt and pepper seasoning inside of our cheese sauce. We don't add any additional in here, but you'll see we add plenty, and it does its job of enhancing the flavor of our macaroni and cheese. So we're going to add a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of pepper. It's not too much pepper, so don't be alarmed. It all comes together, trust. Look at this. Amazing. It's nice and smooth and creamy. And this is ready to go on our macaroni noodles. Now we do need to be careful because we do have the eggs that are in here, so we don't want to create scrambled eggs around our elbow macaroni noodles. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of this initially to help temper the temperature of the eggs with this hot going in here. And then we'll be able to add it all in. It's ready. You can't tell me that this isn't all of that and more. Okay. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do with this little baby spoon. So let me get my love spoon. And I need a pot holder because these are metal handles. And if I didn't have it, I would burn my hand off. So I'm gonna take a little bit into the spoon and move it over to my macaroni and cheese. I'll take 3. So it's a sufficient amount. I'm gonna mix this around. Now I'm not going to scrape the bottom of the pan just in the event that we do have any of remnant that may have stuck to the bottom. You don't want to put that into your macaroni and cheese. And so now I'm going to mix this all together. You hear all that goodness? This is not going to be dry. It's going to bake up and it's going to have a nice texture because we cooked our noodles to al dente, which means we did not allow them to get mushy. You know your noodles are overcooked when they triple in size, you have cooked them entirely too long. If you follow the directions on the box of your noodles or any type of pasta, it tells you exactly how long to cook it. Just follow the directions and you'll have perfect pasta every time. Okay. Make sure you get all the way underneath the bottom of the bowl so every noodle is covered with the exact same ingredients. Okay, so we have a casserole dish large enough to fit all of this amazing macaroni and cheese. We'll load her in. Okay, now we're just going to smooth it out. And on the top, the cheddar cheese that we had left over, we're going to add that to the top of our macaroni and cheese. We want to put an even layer across the entire top of the macaroni and cheese. If you got holes, just move the cheese around so that you're covering it all. This also helps when you're baking it. It acts as a protective layer so that the noodles themselves don't become crispy. I know some people do like that, the crispy edges of the macaroni and cheese. That is not my preference. So I try to cover as much of it as I can to avoid that from happening. Okay, now we're going to garnish it with our paprika. The paprika, when it bakes, it helps to give it like a little color on the top. This is how I saw it done. My Nana Claudia, she was the one in the family that was known for her macaroni and cheese. So you just sprinkle it on the top. Okay, and I also do not bake my macaroni and cheese uncovered, at least for the first 15 minutes. I put a piece of foil over top so that will prevent the cheese from browning too soon. I like my cheese to be melted, but I don't like it to look dark in color. I like it to stay vibrant in color. So I take a piece of foil, and on the foil, I spray a little cooking spray. And what that does is that will prevent the cheese from sticking to the top of the foil. Also, I don't actually put the foil on and press it onto the macaroni and cheese. I just put it on very gently and light so that it's barely touching it, just so it stays on top. I don't need to seal it in or anything. It doesn't take macaroni and cheese a long time to cook, about 30 to 40 minutes, just depending on the type of oven you have, whether you're using convection bake or just a standard bake. It all depends. Okay, so we're going to put it in the oven. Okay. And let the oven do its job. Let's take the macaroni and cheese out. It should be done. I did remove the foil, as I mentioned, partway through. And oh yes, she is a thing of beauty. You can't tell me that this is not some delicious looking macaroni and cheese. Y'all need to holler at your girl, because this is the truth. Amazing. What else can I say? Except Vincent Country welcomes you home.